Have you ever felt lonely in a crowded room, surrounded by people yet completely isolated? That's not aloneness, that's loneliness. And the world has confused these two completely opposite states. One destroys you, one heals you. Today, we're exploring the difference that changes everything. Loneliness is pain. It's the ache of disconnection, the terror of abandonment, the feeling that nobody really sees you. It's not about being alone. It's about feeling alone even when you're with people. Your nervous system is screaming, I'm isolated, I'm unsafe, I'm not enough. But aloneness is different. Aloneness is a choice. It's solitude. It's space. It's the freedom to be with yourself without panic. Aloneness is healing, yet society has weaponized solitude. We're taught that being alone means something is wrong with you. The confusion starts young. A child alone feels abandoned. A teenager alone feels invisible. An adult alone feels like a failure. Nobody taught us that solitude could be sacred. Instead, we learned that isolation equals pathology. So, we run. We fill every moment with noise, phones, people, entertainment, work, anything to avoid the terror of being alone. We confuse busyness with purpose. We confuse connection with intimacy. We confuse presence with attention. The modern world has made aloneness nearly impossible. Constant notifications, endless scrolling, social media promising connection while delivering isolation. We're surrounded by people yet lonelier than ever. Loneliness is an epidemic. It's killing people faster than smoking. Yet nobody talks about it. It's shame. It's failure. It's proof you're broken. At least that's what our culture whispers. But here's the truth. Loneliness isn't a character flaw. It's a signal. Your nervous system is trying to tell you something. You need connection, real connection, and you're not getting it. Aloneness, on the other hand, is a superpower nobody recognizes. It's the ability to sit with yourself without panic, to think your own thoughts, to create without permission, to heal without witnesses. The world needs lonely people to stay lonely because isolated people are easier to control, easier to sell to, easier to manipulate. But aloneness, chosen solitude, creates the strongest people on earth. Think about every major breakthrough in history: art, philosophy, science, spirituality. Behind almost everyone was someone who spent time alone, real alone, not scrolling, not distracted, just them and their consciousness. Yet, we pathologize this. We tell people it's unhealthy to be alone. We sell them solutions, therapy, medication, relationships, more people. We've made solitude sound like depression, and depression sound like solitude. The confusion is deliberate, whether conscious or not. A lonely population is a profitable population. They buy things to feel less alone. They pursue people to fill the void. They consume endlessly, seeking the connection that products can't provide. But an alone person, a person comfortable in solitude, that person is dangerous to the system. They don't desperately need. They're not running. They're not consuming to fill a void. They're complete. So the first step is understanding the difference. Loneliness is a wound. Aloneness is a sanctuary. And learning to tell the difference is the beginning of healing. Chronic loneliness is a physical disease. It's not poetry. It's measurable. Inflammation markers spike. Cortisol stays elevated. Your immune system collapses. Loneliness kills as reliably as smoking or obesity. But it starts in the nervous system. Loneliness triggers your threat detection system. Your body thinks, I'm isolated from the tribe. The tribe is survival. This is death. Your body never evolved for modern solitude. So a lonely person is always in low-level panic, always vigilant, always seeking reassurance. This exhaustion leads to poor decisions, pursuing unavailable people, staying in toxic situations, seeking validation everywhere. Attachment wounds fuel loneliness. If you grew up with inconsistent parents, sometimes present, sometimes absent, you learned connection is unreliable. It will hurt me, so you either chase desperately or withdraw completely. This creates the paradox. Lonely people often push away the connection they desperately need. They sabotage relationships. They test people. They create the abandonment they fear. A self-fulfilling prophecy of isolation. Social media promised connection, but delivered loneliness. You have 5,000 friends, but nobody who truly knows you. You see everyone's highlight reel and compare it to your behind-the-scenes reality. Loneliness intensifies through comparison. The cruelest loneliness is being lonely in a crowded room. You're surrounded by people, yet nobody sees you. Nobody really listens. You're invisible. This is the modern condition, connected, but not seen. Desperate seeking behavior emerges. People text constantly, seeking reassurance. They post on social media for validation. They jump into relationships too fast, trying to fill the void. They mistake intensity for intimacy. The body responds to chronic loneliness like chronic stress. Inflammation spreads. Your cardiovascular system suffers. Your cognitive function declines. You're literally dying from disconnection. Depression and anxiety spiral from loneliness. The isolation amplifies negative thoughts. You catastrophize. You ruminate. Your mind becomes a prison when you're the only visitor. Paranoia emerges. A lonely mind creates stories. People don't like me. I'm too weird. I don't belong. These stories become self-fulfilling. You withdraw. Others respect the boundary. The story feels true. The cycle becomes inescapable. Loneliness creates depression, which creates isolation, which intensifies loneliness. Without intervention, it accelerates toward crisis. Addiction thrives in loneliness. Drugs, alcohol, food, sex, work, anything to numb the pain. Any escape is better than facing the void. Loneliness is the root cause of most addictions. We rarely address it. Suicide risk skyrockets with chronic loneliness. People don't kill themselves because they're alone. They kill themselves because loneliness convinces them they'll always be alone. It's a hopelessness created by isolation. This is the destruction of loneliness. It's not a preference for solitude. It's a disease, and until we understand this, we can't help people escape it. Now let's talk about aloneness, true solitude. It's radically different from loneliness, yet our culture confuses them. Aloneness is chosen. It's safe. It's where healing happens. When you choose to be alone without fear, without panic, without seeking, something shifts. Your nervous system downregulates. You move from threat detection to rest and digest. Your body can finally repair. Solitude is where you meet yourself. In the silence, without distraction, without performance, you finally hear your own thoughts. You discover what you actually believe, not what you've been told to believe. Philosophy's greatest thinkers were solitude practitioners. Nietzsche, Thoreau, Kierkegaard, Buddha, Jesus, they all spent extended time alone, not running from people, but seeking clarity through solitude. It's the opposite of loneliness. Neuroscience shows that solitude activates the default mode network, the part of your brain responsible for self-reflection, creativity, and insight.
Shows the
Your
default
best
mode
ideas
network
emerge in
lighting up,
silence, not in
demonstrating
meetings.
the brain's
Artists,
activity.
writers, musicians, scientists, they all need solitude, not because they're antisocial, but because creation requires space, breakthrough requires privacy, innovation requires silence. When you're alone without fear, something remarkable happens. You stop seeking external validation. You stop performing. You become authentic. This authenticity is magnetic. Ironically, people are drawn to those comfortable being alone. Solitude heals trauma. In the safety of your own presence, you can finally process what hurt you. You can cry without judgment. You can rage without consequence. You can heal without witnesses. Your relationship with yourself determines all other relationships. If you're terrified to be alone with yourself, you'll choose any companion, healthy or toxic, to escape that terror. But if you're comfortable alone, you choose based on compatibility, not desperation. Emotional regulation happens in solitude. When you're constantly with others, you're in a state of performance. You can't fully feel. You can't fully process. Solitude gives your emotions permission to exist. Spiritual traditions universally recognize solitude as sacred. Meditation, prayer, fasting, silence. These are pathways to self-knowledge and transcendence. Loneliness is suffering. Solitude is enlightenment. Time alone reveals your values. What do you actually want when nobody's watching? What brings you joy without an audience? What matters when there's no social reward? This is where truth lives. The superpower of aloneness is self-sufficiency. You're not dependent on others for your well-being. You're not desperate for companionship. You're whole. This makes you dangerous to exploitative systems. A person comfortable in solitude can't be easily manipulated. They don't need constant reassurance. They don't seek validation through status or material goods. They can't be isolated because isolation is their sanctuary. This is the revelation. Aloneness is not a failure. It's a strength. It's not pathology. It's mastery. It's not something to be fixed. It's something to be cultivated. So, how do you transform loneliness into aloneness? The first step is awareness. Can you feel the difference in your body? Loneliness is panic. Aloneness is peace. One is a wound. One is a sanctuary. Start small. 15 minutes alone, without your phone, without distraction. Just you and the silence. Your mind will panic. It will offer you reasons to check your phone. Stay. Breathe. This is discomfort, not danger. The panic you feel in solitude is the panic of facing yourself. Your mind is used to running. It doesn't know how to be still. But this is the healing. You're learning to be safe with yourself. Journaling in solitude helps. Write what you're thinking, feeling, fearing. Don't edit. Don't perform. Just let your consciousness spill onto the page. This is dialogue with yourself, the relationship that matters most. As you practice solitude, something shifts. The panic lessens. The silence becomes comfortable. You start to enjoy your own company. You discover you're interesting. You're worthy of your own attention. This is when real connection becomes possible. When you're not desperate for people, you can choose people. When you're not running from solitude, you can appreciate togetherness. The paradox: solitude makes you better in relationships. Quality over quantity becomes obvious. When you're alone, you don't waste time on people who don't nourish you. You don't perform for people who don't see you. You invest in people who reciprocate your energy. Boundaries emerge naturally from solitude. You've learned what you value. You know what hurts you. You're willing to be alone rather than with the wrong person. This selectivity creates healthier connections. The practice of solitude teaches you that you're your own best company. This sounds arrogant, but it's not. It's humble. You're accepting your own humanity. You're becoming your own friend. As loneliness transforms into aloneness, you notice anxiety decreases, creativity increases, clarity emerges. You make better decisions because you're not desperate. You pursue goals that matter, not goals that impress. The physical symptoms of loneliness begin to resolve. Your cortisol drops, inflammation decreases, your immune system strengthens, your body recognizes, I'm safe, I'm whole, I'm enough. This transformation isn't instant, it takes practice. Some days you'll regress into loneliness panic. That's normal. The key is returning to solitude as your anchor, as your home. You'll discover that your thoughts are better in solitude. Your creativity flourishes without an audience. Your wisdom emerges in silence. You become the person you always wanted to be when nobody's watching. Relationships become different now. You choose people from abundance, not scarcity. You give from overflow, not from a desperate need to be valued. Connection deepens because it's mutual, not transactional. This is the transformation. From running toward people to rushing away from loneliness, you move to choosing solitude and choosing connection. Both become acts of freedom, not acts of desperation. The balanced life isn't solitude or connection, it's both, like breathing. Inhale solitude, reflection, restoration. Exhale connection, sharing, contributing. Both are necessary. Both are sacred. There's a difference between healthy solitude and unhealthy isolation. Healthy solitude leaves you feeling recharged, creative, clear. Unhealthy isolation leaves you spiraling, ruminating, increasingly depressed. Know the difference. Red flags of unhealthy isolation: avoiding all connection, ruminating endlessly, increasing paranoia, declining self-care, worsening depression. If solitude is making you worse, not better, reach out. This is loneliness disguised as aloneness. The goal isn't to live alone forever. The goal is to be comfortable alone so that when you're with people, you're choosing them, not needing them. This changes the entire dynamic of relationships. Explaining your solitude to others is important. Some people will misunderstand. They'll think you're depressed or rejecting them. You need to communicate. This time alone is how I care for myself. It makes me better for you. Find people who understand that solitude isn't rejection. Find people who respect your need for space. Find people who have their own aloneness practice. These are the people worth keeping close. Schedule your solitude. Protect it like you'd protect a meeting. 1 hour daily if possible. Longer blocks weekly. Your nervous system needs this regularity. Your mind needs this permission. Use solitude intentionally. Meditate, journal, create, read, think. Don't waste it on numbing. The goal is consciousness, not escape. If you're avoiding in solitude, you're still running from yourself. Notice when you're choosing solitude from abundance versus running toward it from desperation. Healthy solitude feels like a gift. Unhealthy isolation feels like a prison. The feeling tells you which is which. Teaching children about solitude might be the most important gift you can give. Show them it's safe to be alone. Show them their own company is enough. Break the cycle of loneliness addiction before it starts. As you master this balance, solitude and connection, you become truly free. You're not controlled by fear of abandonment. You're not desperate for validation. You're not dependent on anyone for your wholeness. You're complete. So here's the final truth. Loneliness is the pain of disconnection from yourself and others. Aloneness is the peace of connection with yourself. Master aloneness, and loneliness loses its power over you. One becomes a sanctuary. One becomes a superpower. The choice is yours. Subscribe if this shifted something in you. There's more truth coming.